to sort it out in the future. That was Affinity. This is Coral Painter because it came with the tablet. So anyway, okay, yeah. So the idea is that we need to think about what we want from a character point of view. So first off,
So
like the
requirements. You wanna do humanoid?
So it can be humanoid or an animal as well. I don't mind. So if I was to think, first off, I'm just going to write some points and then we'll talk through them. So first off, I think what we need to think is like, what is the character going to be like? So, or maybe who is the character?
No, now you're writing a backstory of the character.
No, sorry. As in, what do they need to do and stuff as well, right? So we need to look at
the technical side of things. The advantage of a humanoid is like you can also learn about how to get a Mixamo animation in.
Yes. Yeah. I'm personally looking. I'd like to do human because we can use Mixamo animation and then just try and make one small one for ourselves. For example, like a stretch animation, and then we don't have to do all the animation ourselves, but at least we have that idea. Because I'm not an animator.
You can also modify the Mixamo one.
Yes. So I want to look how to just import an existing one, modify an existing one, and then try and make one from scratch. Very basic one. That would be the animation bit, but. I think also like I guess who is the character would also be like what do they need to do in game as well. So like what actions do they perform?
They will move.
Yes, good start. Okay, so what actions do they perform? I think that's important for us to think about because if you think, I've had some thoughts about specifics I want, and these are very specific, and it might seem needless, but it's something that I think adds a lot of like value to a game. So, of course, I've talked to Brainoid about references to Animal Crossing quite a lot recently, but I find things such as having like the head of a character, when you run past the character, an NPC, that their head follows you until you get out of range and then it stops. So like, I know obviously we're going to have a head that has a joint on the head so they can move their head around. I get that. But it's just like making sure that the character has the ability to do things like that. So that can also include like changing outfits. So imagine we did a generic character for Honest Adventure. And people could choose like a base kind of character. But then they might want to change to be an archer. Or they might want to change to be a warrior. That we can add bits onto it. And I really don't know how they do that. So I think that might come down to like are they dynamic? Is the model dynamic, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
So should we just call that the dynamism?
Okay.
Of the model. Okay.
I don't think we will get there today, but yeah, it should be the part of the character challenge, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, of course. I don't. Just to answer some of the things in chat as well. So Littlewood, yes, I did. Thank you very much to chat. We raised enough money for it, and so I pretty much got the best brand, cheapest one, because the amount of time I'm going to use it, and for me to find out how I'll get along with it, I think it was the best choice. I'm a bit annoyed that I managed to get the non-Bluetooth one.
But we didn't have enough money for the Bluetooth.
No, the Bluetooth one was the same, I think, roughly, by like £10. So that's what I'm annoyed about, but it doesn't matter. I can always speak to Wacom if I really want to.
Yeah, you like cables anyways.
I don't like cables, that's the point. I like my desk, I dislike it at the moment.
Who likes cables?
Let me show you why this stresses me. This is what we're looking at right now on my desk. I'll check this on Discord very quickly. Show this. So this is why I don't like cables. So like I don't mind my monitor cables. They have to be there and they go into these little things. That's okay. But then what happens is like headphone cables. We have this cable we have the mouse cable going to this and that as well. So it's just one extra thing. Without this cable coming along here, it's a bit cleaner. So that's why I wanted to use it Bluetooth. There we go. So Spacey, her name was Sandra. She grew up on the coast with 2 brothers and a single mother. They never quite had enough money for rent. What is this? Is this lyrics or are you just losing it? Dave, I ended up getting the Intuos S off of their website. So if you just look up Intuos S, not Intuos Pro. Who the character was. Okay, thank you. I like that. Hafu, nice to see you as well. I just like cable mouse. I prefer my device to be wired, rely on the speed. Yeah, so there's a bit of a, I don't know whether to call it a myth or not, but there's a bit of like chat about how actually important that is. These days, like my friend recently got a mouse. He gave me his old mouse, which is very generous of him. So he got a wireless version of this mouse. And he is just like, he doesn't notice any difference. I think we are always very aware of thinking, oh, it's going to be delay. What about that time where I'm going to aim and then it loses latency? But does that actually happen with more modern technology anyway? Pally, how's that? What happened to the fishing game you were working on, Pally? Brainoid was showing us a bit of a fishing game he was working on earlier.
It wasn't a game at all, but yeah.
Hey, don't you take away from your own achievements. Okay, so let's think about this. So download some of the model. Tell you what, I might actually rearrange my screens a little bit and get Brainoid's chat. Or get the stream chat, sorry. On my vertical monitor on the left. Yeah, so I can see everything. Zoom it up. Oh no, it zooms everything. Such a pain. I won't have a chance to lose any connection, except if my cable messes up, then I don't have to worry if it charges. Yeah, charging is fair. I'm down with that. And Pally, good. I'm glad you're going to get back to it. Okay, so from a character point of view, like what sort of actions they need to do. That's the other thing that we mentioned. So that's going to be whether they need to jump, whether they need to be able to like crouch. And I think this is going to really come into the point of how you put the model together and then the rigging part of it, the joints. If you need to have an idea of how you're going to animate it, I guess, as well. So that was the first kind of questions to ask. I guess the next thing is like, what do they look like? And I think you should have a rough idea going in as well. Like, so if we just say our visuals here. So for our visuals, I think it's probably important for us to just have a quick idea of what you want it to look like. And this would be like a 2D concept thing, I guess, right? So a quick sketch probably.
Yeah.
Of what you want it to look like, maybe from like side and front, because I know when I've been modeling, it really helps to have that. We may not go into that much detail, but it's just things to think about, I guess, right? So side and front profile, because I remember when I did that lion head, I got a front profile and a side profile of different lions, but it gave me like that ability to get the right kind of shape, and then you can work out the rest.
It definitely helps.
Yeah. Okay, so side and front profile helps. So I'm not too sure like how they do it. Oh, crikey, with little things like with characters. I'm trying to think. I'm guessing with things like, say, there's different hairs on different characters, for example. Not individual hairs. I mean like hair models. I'm guessing they just have like a socket on the head where they just attach the hair model separately. I'm guessing that's how it works.
Yeah, you can do it in various ways, I guess. That's one of the ways.
Yeah.
That works.
So one thing that I think about as well is, and this is another thing that I'd really like to learn about, because I think it's very good for game jams and quick development, is if you can have a face that you use like animations on. So if you have like a flat face, so this is our character over here. It's their beautiful hair. Oh, it's beautiful. His ears. Okay, but instead of actually having a face, we have a different kind of. I guess whenever they do something, we'll just do this in pink for now. It doesn't really matter. That we can like make them happy like this. No, and then if they're sad, then it just changes to a different image where it's just like. Well, I don't even know if that's sad. But
image faces.
Yes,
like
so
Lana uses.
Does she? I've not seen. So basically, that you have some texture here, and I don't know how you do it because they're animated and they're dynamic. That sort of stuff, I'd be interested in kind of learning a bit. Yeah, exactly, Spacey. I think Animal Crossing is a great reference because it's very simple, but I think there's very little complaints about it as well. I think it's a bit too cutesy. I initially said, and I did say this on stream, so I'm not going to back away from it, I thought the characters in Animal Crossing looked stupid. But that was before I'd seen the old ones, and I'd seen the ones with the carrot noses, and some of the other like features and some of the other animals. The modern one has quite a bit of. There's been a lot of improvements. But what I like about it is the idea that simple base that they have. There's so little customization really on the character, but you can still do a lot of expression. I love the emotes in that game. Like that one where the let's just quick check now. I can't. What's it called? Emote Animal Crossing or reaction, isn't it? Is it love or no? It's not. It's the joy. That one. I think it's amazing. Joy is it? I think this. Turn off any Joe. I was hoping to find something quicker than this, so apologies for the delay. So, the character. When you're gonna do your emote? Oh gosh, look how goofy it looks. That emote that this one's doing here. Okay, yeah. So he teaches it here. When you do it for the first time, you go like, you better do it for me now.
Yeah.
Oh, you've just gone through all of them, but the one I want you to do, haven't you? Absolute swine. Did the first one behind the character so you couldn't see it. Don't go to the side, do this one. Oh, you. Okay, you can't see it, annoyingly, but the eyes are like closed, and it's very expressionate. And it's. I think it's great because you don't have to make. That's not complicated. If you can just work on animated faces to express emotion and that in your characters, that's a lot quicker than having to like rig animations to express and make their faces change and stuff. I don't know how it works. So Benjo says textures for individual expressions and UV offset changing. UV offset changing, is that the way to make it move? Oh, is that like you go through like a flip book of animations? I've seen things like that done in some of the games I work in work, actually, where they have an animation. I think they actually use it for some really clever effects on like, I'm trying to remember what it was. But some of these things that look like particle effects or whatever, they're not. They're just a texture that is flipping through animated states. Face rigs are definitely very hard for it. Yeah, good. So even if it's just the eyes or just the mouth, I think is a really quick way to, like, if you have a game and your character's mouth moves when you talk in a game jam, that is like definitely in the top 10% of like engage, like how immersive I guess it feels. And it's a little, it's not much, but it's if you can get used to doing that and you've done it once, it's not too hard then, right? So yeah, that's kind of what I'd take from that. Right, where were we? Have different. Oh, can't we press Alt to choose a color? I know some of the tools. No, that's definitely not the same color. Oh well. Fine. Okay, so when we're thinking about what character we want to do, is there anything else? I don't know if chat has any other thoughts of we're going to go to the next steps and draw and working out like what the kind of flow that you want to go through.